Hey guys, Jamie here. Today I want to talk about some distress tolerance skills in DBT, specifically self-soothe and wise mind accepts. So in DBT, our distress tolerance skills are our crisis survival skills. They're not our everyday all the time skills, which is what our mindfulness, emotion regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness fall under. But these are skills specifically for crisis situations. And we look at crisis situations as situations that have high emotional activation, ineffective action urges, so those lots of emotions make us want to do things that will get us further from our goals. And we think of it as being a pretty short time limit thing. Most crises aren't these long drawn out processes, but are instead these shorter things that we have this high urge to get through. So our distress tolerance skills don't really focus on changing things. They're much more on getting through that heightened period of emotional activation without doing things that make our situation worse. And so we only want to use distress tolerance skills when we do have a high crisis level, because if we depend on them when emotions aren't that elevated, then we're just kind of numbing. And so that's a really important point, is like distraction and self-soothe techniques are amazing techniques to help you not do ineffective action urges. But if you just live in them, then they're not going to help you get closer to your life worth living goals either. And so we use them for crisis times, but then when our emotions aren't as highly activated, we set them aside and move to more cognitive-based skills like problem solving and check the facts, so that we can get into a different situation versus just tolerate the moment. So self-soothe is the skill I wanted to talk about today. Last week we were preparing for a hurricane, and this was the skill that kind of kept coming up with my clients, and I got to show my kit to a couple of different people, and it made me think, I'd be a cool opportunity to show it off on here too. So self-soothe is all about sensations, focusing on the 5 sensations, which is really based on the thought of, if you are mindfully focused on a sensation, then you're not focused on thoughts that are circling in your head, right? And so if you're having these repetitive thoughts that continue to fire your emotion, you're going to continue to elevate your emotional interaction. And so the goal of self-soothe is to get you out of your thoughts and into your physical experience with your body. So the 5 sensations being touch, taste, smell, hearing, and sight. And the idea for the homework assignment that we always give when we give this class is to do a self-soothe kit, so that when you need to do this, you don't have to think about what can I do. You just have to think about, I've got a kit ready, and it's going to have all these cued ideas that can help me tolerate the moment. And the cool thing about this assignment is it's completely customizable, right? Like, it's for you. It's your favorite things. It's things that are going to bring joy to you in moments when you're really struggling. And I love going and teaching a class and having 8 different people bring in their kits, because they're totally different usually. And somebody may need a small purse size one to take with them to work or class. Somebody may have a huge one that they can keep at home. Mine is in this awesome little treasure chest that's part of my office decoration, so keeps it hidden away, but then it keeps everything nicely put together as well. So I know that if I have distress, or if my clients have distress in my office, this is something that anybody can find something to help them just tolerate the moment and deactivate their emotions in. And so I thought I'd share a little bit of what I've got in mind to give y'all some ideas for what you might want to put in your self-soothe kit for yourself. For touch, I have this soft little stuffed animal that, it's a Hello Kitty. The little kid in me loves Hello Kitty. I was a cat kid, and so this is one of my favorite things to just hold and focus on the sensation of holding it, and it brings me good feelings. For touch, I also have some of this awesome Aaron's Thinking Putty, which is like silly putty for adults. I can't get it open today. It's kind of spilled a little and sealed itself shut, but it's really cool. It comes in a bunch of different colors, and you can twist it and spin it, and it takes on different shapes. So it's really fun for just kind of engrossing yourself in a physical thing that you can pull apart and malleable. So highly recommend this stuff. I also have this little heart that I made in one of my group classes. It's from Play-Doh, and so it's got an interesting texture, and I like the feel of it. Have Bath and Body Works Eucalyptus Spearmint Stress Relief. So this is touch and smell, right? It's got a really nice essential oil smell to it, and this is just very calming, very peaceful. One of my favorite scents, always in my kit. For smell, I also have some essential oils. This one's peppermint. My favorite tends to be lavender. That's what I put in all my ones at home. So of course my peppermint freebie ended up in my box because it's not my favorite. For smell, I also have a little bundle of sage. I burn sage at home all the time. I kind of believe in the clearing effects of it. I think it smells really good. It's also just very calming for me. And so this is a little partially burned one, but it's a cue to go get my big one at home that, you know, is always ready to be burned. For sight, I have a couple of movies. A yoga movie to kind of cue me to the thought that maybe I could go do some exercise. This is definitely like, not full on self-soothe. Also, our tip skill talks about exercise. Our Wise Mind Distracts talks about exercise. So exercise is a big point of it fits in many of our distress tolerance skills. So yoga is a good one for, you know, tolerating the moment. I also have a funny movie. King of the Hill happens to be kind of my favorite comedy. So if I'm really sad and I pull out my box, something that I know will always bring a smile to my face. I also have just a card that one of my best friends gave me that's got a really lovely note in it that just always brings a smile to my face and is a reminder of, you know, the good things in my relationships, good things in the people that care about me. I've got a CD. This is Adele's 25 CD. Again, like CDs are pretty old school, right? But it's a cue to go grab my Woman Power mix on my iPod. And that's a good point is that cell phones, you can put a lot of a self-soothe kit in a cell phone, right? You can have a playlist of self-soothe with your music. You can have a set of games that are your self-soothe games that you get on that help you distract. Movies, again, another playlist. So there's lots of ways you can use your phone to help you distress tolerance with the memory that once the emotion resides past that like 7 or 8 in activation, you're just like numbing out then. Like you got to move on to other skills like check the facts or opposite action, do something to change the situation. You can't just stay in that like distraction time. I also have a journal and an adult coloring book. Both are, you know, like really good activities for spending some time, specifically adult coloring. This is like such a great mindful activity because it engages your brain. All these tiny little lines that you have to focus on staying inside, like that is enough to keep your brain from being in those spiraling thought loops of distress. And so this is a really good activity for that time. For taste, I have a couple of sour things, like sour lifesavers. That tends to be my favorite thing, something like it's going to give me a little bit of shock. Jolly Ranchers. I also have a thing of green tea, reminder to oxidate, right? Take good care of my body. Usually there's also a package of gum in here. And when I was a smoker, I always kept Nicorette in here because if I couldn't have a cigarette, then like at least being able to get that tobacco was really helpful to me in times of distress, right? And so that was something that like always stayed in my kit until a couple of years ago. Another touch thing I have is a rose quartz. This was a gift from one of my clients. I believe in kind of crystals and powers, and so I've got a bunch of different ones on my home altar that I look at and touch a lot, but this one's really special to me because it came from a client, so it stays in my self-soothe box as a reminder of lots of healing journeys that have come before. And so as you can see, there's all sorts of different stuff in here. There's a couple other things that just, you know, re-hit on what I've already shown you. But like this is a really cool thing, right? There are hours of entertainment in here. And so when you're highly emotionally activated, it's hard sometimes to think of like what brings me joy or what can bring me peace. And so not having to go ahead and think of that, just knowing, oh, go grab my kit and it will be my cue. It will help me get through this time without doing those things that I really don't want to do, without choosing those behaviors or those coping patterns that I know are actually going to get me further away from the person I want to be. So I highly encourage you to go out tonight and make yourself a self-soothe kit. Put it somewhere where you're going to see it, where you won't have to think too much for it. You know, if you know home is your place where you usually get distressed, keep it by the bed or by your desk. If you know out in the world is, make you a car kit and keep it out in your vehicle. But customize it for yourself and have some fun doing this. This is one of my favorite homework assignments, like I said, because it's all about you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love it if you'd hit like and subscribe. And if you're looking for DBT coaching with a holistic focus, I offer telehealth coaching and consultation services. Contact me through my email. I hope y'all have a great day. Namaste.